And welcome to the Sunday, January 22nd edition of the OBX Wave Report, where we discuss all things waves, weather, climate, and beach lifestyle. And here on the Outer Banks today, it is chilly and rainy with a storm system sweeping in from the south. Temperatures are warming up throughout the day as south and southeast winds blow in and build off the Atlantic Ocean. Right now, the waves are pretty small, but these waves are expected to build throughout the day and into the evening, kicking up to rather larger by Monday in association with the winds kicking up from the south. And for the southern beaches, waves are expected to get up into the 5 foot plus range by tomorrow in association with the storm system. In the near offshore waters, gale conditions are expected, likely starting to occur right now in the mid-afternoon time frame. All right, so right now we're looking at the NOAA geocolor composite image for the United States, and we see a area of disturbed weather over the eastern half of the country, tapping into some Gulf moisture, and you can see this tap into the Gulf pretty clearly as a stream of clouds drawing into a larger storm system. And much of the precipitation is in a kind of a shield pattern over the Great Lakes, the Northeast, and into the Mid-Atlantic here, sweeping in through the Outer Banks. And then behind the impulse, like a warm frontal kind of impulse moving up from south to north, we've got streams of thunderstorms flowing out of the Gulf of Mexico into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and then on northward. So pretty interesting right now, pretty interesting weather pattern. We've got storms here in the Outer Banks. I'm going to go ahead and show you the geo color composite provided by Tropical Tidbits. And you can see those higher cloud tops in association with some of the storms streaming off the Gulf of Mexico behind a warm front that is sweeping up through the mid-Atlantic and off the Outer Banks. Behind this system, there's warmer weather, and we expect warmer conditions following on Monday through Tuesday. Worth noting that the California weather remains clear. We've had now about 3 days of clear, mostly clear weather for California, although there's a little bit of an impulse riding up over a high pressure system into Washington and Oregon here. Overall, much calmer conditions for the West Coast than have occurred recently in middle January, I'm sorry, middle December through middle January. Okay, so let's look at the National Weather Service radar. I do want to show you the rain and clouds that we are, well, the rain particularly that we are presently experiencing here in the Outer Banks. Got some stormy conditions just offshore. Right now in Manio, just out my window, it's light rain. And that's the case for the slight light to moderate rain across the Outer Banks with stormier conditions off coast. It is worth noting that we do have some thunderstorms, some severe thunderstorms riding in across the Gulf of Mexico, sweeping into Florida here, and just generally stormy weather across Georgia and parts of Alabama and Mississippi as well. Offshore for the Outer Banks, we've got small craft advisories off of Nag's Head, Kitty Hawk, and Kill Devil Hills. And then as you head on south down to the Hatteras Island area, we've got, I believe, gale warnings off of Hatteras Island in the eastern on the eastern side, and then on the southern side as well, we've got gale warnings, and then on down to Morehead City, gale warnings in effect. So small craft advisories north for the Outer Banks, gale warnings south as a stormy impulse pushes through the Outer Banks for today. I did want to show you the predicted precipitation for the United States to give you guys an idea where the storms will tend to be. This is a 7-day forecast. And over the next 7 days, it looks like stormier conditions will prevail over the eastern portion of the country. And then for the west, it tends to be drier, but worth noting that now in this 7-day forecast, California is once again looking at getting some precipitation, particularly toward the end of the 7-day period, although this level of precipitation in the range of looks like about a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch is much lower than previous previous events that we saw over the past few weeks where California in some spots was receiving upwards of 15 inches of rain um, in a single week time frame for multiple weeks on end for certain locations. So yeah, definitely a much drier weather pattern still predicted for California for the coming week. Now, looking at the Outer Banks, we are going to go ahead and provide you with our 3 local spots for waves for today. We're going to start out at Jeanette's Pier. And it is just worth noting that generally across the Outer Banks, waves are about 1 to 2 foot. Some places 0 to 2 foot, but with these onshore winds kicking up, and I can just see them in the trees right now. We expect the waves to build throughout the day, particularly for the more southerly beaches, and then be rather tall, especially for the southerly beaches in through Monday. And so for the south-facing beaches, waves in the range of 4 to 5 feet, and then for the east and northeast facing beaches, likely in the range of 2 to 3, 2 to 4 feet as the swell kicks up in association with this storm system. Nothing too crazy, but just worth noting that we are expected to get more. Oh, here I'm all the way up in Kitty Hawk. That's interesting. So expected to get more wave action tomorrow, and we'll provide you with a more comprehensive report for waves on Monday and see how they form up in association with this storm and this gale. But for right now, at Jeanette's Pier, waves are in the range of 1 to 2 foot. Primary swell coming in at 7 seconds with a secondary swell coming in at 12 seconds. Winds are out of the southeast right now at 11 miles per hour. Actually, that's probably a little bit stronger now, as I can see they're starting to kick up. Air temperature right now in the range of the 49-degree mark. It actually might be a little bit warmer now, closer to 50. Ocean water temperatures in the range of 50 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, 49 degrees Fahrenheit. So actually really cold water there. If you do go out today in the rain and the rising wind, do please make sure that you have your cold weather protection all set up because that's some cold water there. Weather conditions right now at Jeanette's Pier are light rain, and the expected weather throughout the day and into the evening is warming through the night with a high of 56. So the high is actually going to be in the nighttime as those warm airs rise up from the south. All right, so let's head on down to Esterns for our second spot for today. We're going to go past Oregon Inlet and down to Esterns, the Estern beaches here over on Route 12. And right now, waves at Esterns are also in the 1 to 2 foot range. Primary swell also coming in at 7 seconds with a secondary swell coming in at 11 seconds. Winds are from the southeast down there at 20 miles per hour, so starting to pick up. Air temperature is much warmer, not far down the beach, but much warmer. You go, I guess Estern's about 15 miles away and it's 56 degrees. So big difference in temperature over a very short distance. Ocean water temperatures are 51 degrees Fahrenheit, also a bit warmer, but not as much of a variance between Jeanette's Pier and Estern's. 51 is cold, guys, so make sure you've got your wetsuits and your hoodies and your booties and your gloves and all that lined up. Weather conditions right now are rain, it's rainy, windy. It's expected to warm through the night with a high of 59 degrees down there at Esterns. All right, so heading on down the coastline, we're going to take our last wave spot, wave Okay, sorry about that. We had a little bit of a technical glitch with the microphone, so we're just going to continue on as we head on down to Hatteras Village and Hatteras Lighthouse. We're going to take the right turn on Route 12, and then we're going to head on down to Frisco for our last wave observation, our specific spot for today. And right now at Frisco, waves are in the range of 1 to 2 foot, although I have an asterisk right now because that primary swell coming in at 4 seconds is showing a wave height of around 2.5, 2.6 feet. So it's actually already starting to tip into the 1 to 3 foot range down there at Frisco. Waves are definitely building with strong winds there. Primary swell coming in at 4 seconds, secondary swell coming in at 5 seconds, and we've got um, a southeast wind coming in onshore there at 19 miles per hour. Air temperatures are in the range of 57 degrees Fahrenheit and ocean water temperatures in the range of 59. So we're into the 50s now for most beaches in the Outer Banks, with the northern beaches into the 40s. So yeah, we're getting into the cold water. It's the cold, definitely the cold water time of year for this time of year. So definitely make sure that you've got your cold weather protection. Weather conditions are rainy down there at Frisco, warming through night with a high of 53. Okay, so let's briefly look at some more larger range weather features to give us an idea of what conditions might be for the Outer Banks, for the lower 48, and for the North Atlantic. And right now, we've got a blocking high pressure system off the US West Coast that is warding storms off to the north and east. We've got a storm system for the US East Coast and a prevalence of storm systems for the US East right now. And we've also got a blocking high pressure system for Europe that's pushing storms up toward Greenland and the Arctic. Looking at the North American weather picture, we have, let's see, we've got the storm system down here in the southeast. We've got our blocking high off the west coast, and we've got storms running up toward Greenland. I'm just going to go ahead and run the models so you can see the tendency for storms to form for the US East. Typically, over the next week or so, what we see in the models is storms forming around the Gulf and then shooting on off to the east and to the north. This blocking high maintains off the west coast, and the prevalence for storms moving up through Greenland and Baffin Bay and up toward the Arctic, deflected away from Europe, does continue throughout most of the model. It is worth noting that the storm tendency does remain for the US East even through the end of the model, and that the blocking high does seem to taper off toward the end of the model as well, allowing more storms to start to progress into California, Washington, and Oregon by early February. All right, so looking at wave conditions, I just want to show you right now off the Outer Banks what significant wave heights are looking like. And right now off the southern beaches, we're looking at significant wave heights in the range of 5 feet, and off the northern beaches in the range of 2 feet. By tomorrow, these waves pump up quite a bit with significant wave heights in the range of 7 to 8 feet off the southern beaches and in the range of 4 to 5 feet off the northern beaches. This wave condition tamps down again by Tuesday, so a rapid change in wave conditions by Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, we get another impulse moving up from the south as wave heights in the near offshore environment pump up to 4 to 7 feet, so 4 foot north, 7 foot south. And then getting on into Thursday, the storm has already headed on off to the north, but a swell does remain. And it's worth noting that swells a bit higher here into the late Wednesday, early Thursday timeframe as you get those near gale force conditions in the near offshore environment. So you do have a period of wave heights in the near offshore environment in the range of 10 to 11 feet. Often very tight time frames for these waves with these systems as they come on sweeping through. For the US West Coast, right now we've got significant wave heights in the range of 11 feet in the northern and central California beaches. And then in the southern beaches, you've got wave heights ranging from looks like 2 to about 3 to 4 feet. Worth noting that there's some powerful storms out here in the north central Pacific, producing some crazy significant wave heights in the range of 39 feet for the shipping lanes. This isn't in a nearshore environment right now. In the North Atlantic, the main feature right now is actually near Iceland and near Scandinavia, with significant wave heights off Iceland in the range of 27 feet and off Scandinavia in the range of 30 feet, although though the large waves look like they might be getting down into the beaches down there in Iceland, the Scandinavian beaches seem to be warded off by the rocky coastline to a certain degree. And just advancing the model here, you do see quite a wave event heading off towards the Svalbard, so heading off north toward the ice pack, with 34-foot significant wave heights heading off toward the north there, toward the ice pack, not right off the ice pack. And then as the storm system associated with these waves shifts off towards Siberia, we have significant wave heights in the range of 13 feet just on the edge of the ice pack. So that's pretty big waves near the ice pack. All right, so that's the roundup for today for the OBX wave report. We have a storm system sweeping in now for the Outer Banks. Gale warnings are up for the beaches from Oregon Inlet south to Morehead City. We're expecting to see significant wave heights in the near offshore environment, kicking up to around, I believe, let's see, actually, let's do this here. Yeah, around 8 to 9 feet, but in the coastal waters, likely in the range of 4 to 6 feet for the south-facing beaches by tomorrow. So thank you for joining me for the OBX Wave Report, and please remember to do everything you can to help save our beautiful coastlines from the impacts of climate change driven by fossil fuel burning. The primary action right now that helps to beat back the climate crisis being transitioning to clean energy. So thank you for joining me again, and I will be back with you on Monday for a more comprehensive OBX wave report, as I will have more time to chat with you. In any case, thank you for joining me again, and I will be back.